What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Let's Talk, where I finally crawled from under my hole and realized what The Walking Dead was. My name's Gus Gallon, and today we're going to be talking about, you guessed it, The Walking Dead. So, let's talk about it. So The Walking Dead is in this stage of the series where it's getting really interesting with the kind of dictators that they're bringing up each and every season. The dictators that we're going to be focusing on today, specifically Negan, but trust me, they've gone through many dictators before and probably many dictators after. But the thing about Negan is that not only is he just a dictator and a powerful one at that, but he also has a very large army behind him. So anything that he says is law, because who's going to defeat him? You and what puny group that you got from the post-apocalyptic era. One of the things that is special about Negan is not only his power, but his army. And so if you're someone who would submit to Negan and his wrath and rule, well, then get off the show, because this is not for you. But if you're someone who would fight back, then you have some options in your corner. Options that you have is to completely go after the army. And each option is going to come with its pros and cons, of course. So let's talk about that. And so when you're facing the army, one of the things that can serve to your advantage is to leave no man standing. Of course, you do this because of any different loyalties that could ever arise when coming from Negan's or any other dictator's army. And so leaving no man standing will not only be able to completely eradicate it can also leave the dictator vulnerable. Because without the people that he's ruling, let's face it, he's nothing. And so when talking about some of the disadvantages of the army, you do have a couple things to consider. One of the things to consider is that depending upon the size of the army, you could run into a lot of trouble, because the greater the army, the more chance that you have of losing. And trust me, no one likes to be on the losing team. But another thing that you have to encounter is that you can also combat a lot of loyalists. And so the loyalists are people who are the dictators or the kings or whatever, key sub-leaders that basically are what keeps him in power. And so when encountering those, you have to be very careful and really very sneaky, because they are the people who either, once they sense danger, will protect the dictator, will protect the ruler, or they're the people who, if they're fighting with the army, then they're going to give the army that much more of an advantage, depending upon their skill set. But say, for example, you don't want to go after the army, so let's hit that dictator up, baby. So you have a couple pros and cons. If you try to go after the dictator, assuming that you're going with the element of surprise, because that's the only way to try to bypass the army. But if you're trying to go with the element of surprise, it depends, because what if the person has a larger base, such as Negan? And so you're more likely to run into sub-leaders instead of just the dictator himself. And so when running into sub-leaders, you're kind of running into the same problem that we had with encountering the army, and that they can easily warn the dictator that, hey, someone is here, someone's trying to kill you. But you do have a better chance of becoming the dictator yourself, because once you kill the dictator, everyone could start to fear you. Everyone will see, holy crap, this person succeeded, we need to get out of here, like now. But when you do something like that, you do a greater risk, in fact, of dying. And so you have a greater chance of dying, especially if there's no reinforcements. But you could do something like that, or you could go after the army, or you could do a third option, which is try to persuade the sub-leaders. You could either do it the easy way, or you could do it the hard way, and it's up to you which one is which. So one option that you have is complete brainwashing, and complete brainwashing would allow will force you to have to capture one of the sub-leaders, which someone's going to notice. But if you manage to be able to completely brainwash him or her in time, you'll be able to have them more compassionate to your side of things and less compassionate to their old ruler side of things. You could do that, or you could reward them with riches or some other reward that they may want or need. The thing about this is that you do have a risk of them betraying you, because it's not like they're your friends. It's not like you're going road trips anytime soon. No, these people are complete strangers who work for the enemy. So if they're trying to switch over, it is a good thing, but at the same time, you do run a risk of being betrayed. You do run a risk of them stabbing you in the back because they don't know you. And so with these things in mind, with trying to go after the armed dictator himself, or just trying to go after the sub-leaders to get to the dictator himself, that leads me to the question of the day. And the question of the day is that how would you effectively take down any leader or militant ruler? Would you go for the army first? Would you go for the dictator first? Would you try to reach his sub-leaders first? Let me know, because I would definitely love to talk about it. I'd definitely love to hear from you guys. Smash that comment section, because I would love to see your comments. If you like what I do here, just leave a like, subscribe, and share the video if you want to. But as always, stay talking, guys. Before you go, I want to leave the inspirational quote of the day. And the inspirational quote of the day is brought to you by Eleanor Roosevelt. And Eleanor Roosevelt said, "Do something every day that scares you." And I don't know how this will help you. I don't know if it helps you at all, but I definitely want to leave you with that. And I hope it does something in your life today. Hopefully you branch out and do something that scares you today, anybody else's sake but for your own.